Now entering Nerdist.com.
Jackie Cation, Laurie Kilmartin. Jackie Cation, Laurie Kilmartin. It's the Jackie and Laurie Show. The Jackie and Laurie Show. It's the Jackie and Laurie Show. The Jackie and Laurie Show.
We're ready?
We're ready.
Hi, Jackie Cation.
Hi, Laurie Kilmartin. Look at us midday. Both of us bright-eyed, bushy-tailed.
Yeah. I don't feel terrible.
I don't feel...
Why should we have this podcast if we don't feel awful?
Right, if there's not something to fight. And I think
Being
Kyle would
alive.
have laughed at that. Aristotle.
Aristotle's tougher, man.
Aristotle is. What we get is
He
a
is.
smile and a nod. He's like,
he's
I'm in.
discerning.
No, I'm
he's
on
more
board.
discerning.
You
And
think it's
no offense to
discerning?
Kyle,
And no offense
who
to
laughs
Aristotle.
at some of our worst dick jokes.
Oh, that's what Kyle is looking for, I think. Kyle is a simple man of the people. That's what you're just saying right
He
there.
just said he was simple. Let's move on.
All right.
So it's Memorial
I
Day.
have a great new Down syndrome joke, by the way. Speaking of the simple.
I have it's not a rape joke, but it makes fun of the concept of rape jokes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
How meta.
Thank you.
Look at you. You're
Yeah.
like you're a satellite on top of the earth looking down at the earth talking
Okay.
about the oceans.
I don't care to visualize all that, so I'm just going to go on. But I think I know what you mean. Now I had a very light comedy week, like maintenance week.
Just 4 sets? How
Yes.
many?
Yes,
Oh my
4.
God, that's hilarious.
Yeah, it's hilariously not enough. Ha ha. I don't feel connected. I don't feel like I'm in show business, and they were mostly in front of small crowds. So
Well,
I don't feel.
That's it. You've died.
I feel I've been ostracized.
You're in a coma.
By
You're
the
in
business.
a comedy coma. Fair
That's
enough.
what it feels like.
I know it does.
Okay.
It's one of the things that you are nonstop. You make me want to work harder, which is a treat. Even though I'm so tired all the time, how could I work
tired
harder?
all the time,
How could I
too.
work harder? Anyway, so you only got 4 sets last week.
Yeah, and so I can't tell, if it's a joke that's going to work in front of a
if it's just
precious
them?
audience,
Yeah.
or is this a late night set joke? I don't think so.
Right.
But it might be. Right now, it opens a chunk, and
Okay.
so it can't be the opening joke to anything. But maybe it could be like the 5th joke. So I got to reshuffle shit, or I don't know. It's this opening. I need some quick short jokes to before I begin this longer thing.
Yeah.
And I keep not getting more than 3 in a row that work. And then when I get another one, for some reason that'll knock off a 4th one. I can't seem to get 4 working.
You're talking about short jokes in a row, and
Yes.
it'll stop the momentum or something?
I don't know.
Me
It's
neither.
it's like, what if that's a good joke? Why, if it works as the first joke, why it doesn't work as the 4th joke? Well, you can't yell at the audience for that, but that's
No.
what my mystery I'm trying to figure out. Unless it's internally that rhythm of 3 where the audience only wants 3 short ones in a row, and that might be it, and then they want a longer thing, and then you have that might
there
be
you go.
it too.
That might
I
just
don't
be
even
a timing
know.
thing. Yeah.
But anyway,
Interesting.
I haven't had enough spots to tell you definitively whether I'm it's set in clay yet or not.
Right.
And it's really frustrating.
Well, I got to do a longer set. I got to do a 30-minute set out in the boons, one of these $100 gigs outside of town. And it was me, and it was another guy who was a headliner guy.
Right.
And I get there, and there's been talk about get there early. I get worried. And so the booker and I go, yeah, I'm there. So I left at 4:30 because it was Friday before Memorial Day. I got there at 5:30. Oops.
What happened?
No one was going that way. So then I had 2 hours to kill.
Oh, my
And
God.
so I screwed around on Snapchat.
But it's in a fascinating town where there's lots to do.
where there were bronze statues of people sitting around. Literally bronze statues.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
Of children playing instead of actual children playing. That's all over Burbank.
Is it?
Yeah, there's a statue of a woman, throwing her child in a Ralph's in a mall where there's a little mini mall where there's a Ralph's and a CVS and no children. And you shouldn't be throwing your children onto Buena Vista Avenue, by the way. It's all dangerous. It's a bad idea. So that kind of a thing.
That kind of thing. A bronzed, inappropriate looking. And so I it's just I entertained myself by asking questions of the bronzes and then getting outraged. There was no answer. And so that'll kill a minute. Anyway, so I show up. I get to the show. The show's at 7:30. I get there at 7, like he wanted me to.
No, you got there at 5:30.
Right, but I didn't go to the show at
I see.
7.
Okay, yeah.
Because that would have been absurd.
Yes.
And so I'm like, hey, buddy, I'm here. And we're sitting around, and he's a little twitchy because it's his show and it's this thing.
Mm-hmm.
And he's clearly making a great deal more money than I am, which I said I would do it.
In their defense,
Plenty of defense.
They set up a whole show.
Yep.
They
Do
do
I
the
do that?
advertising.
I don't.
All you do is show up and tweet 2 times, and you know what I mean.
Right.
Like in
I don't know 77 old people in the middle of rural
and especially
Los
when
Angeles.
it's a comic doing it. I feel it's a little. It's not like a promoter where that's their only gig and they're counting on your name to bring it. I know who you're talking about.
I wasn't
In this-
complaining.
I know. I'm just saying, like
in general.
Yeah. When the attraction is comedy and not who's performing it,
Yes.
in a small town, that is the person doing all the hustling. It's not like you're going in to a place where everyone's only, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I totally know what you mean. But now the people
Thank
do.
you.
Forever.
It's so
Well,
easily.
tell it again, though.
When it's a booker that books me, it's so easy for me to defend. Listen, Jackie, please.
Why would you badmouth the guy that you haven't named? Here's what I'd like to but here was the hilarious road moment that happened.
All right.
Because the other comic I'm doing 30s with, I say, who's going first? And the booker guy is like, oh, I don't know. I know you're both headliners. And I was like, can I leave after my set? And he goes, yeah. And I said, well, then I would love to go first.
No, we go here.
Yeah, and I never do care. I mean, but the guy that I was working with has cared 2 other times and has always said, I have to close because I'm a headliner.
Oh, my God.
And he said, I've had to close because I have merch. And I'm like, hey, I have merch that I could have brought to not sell to these old people that don't want a T-shirt that says Spooky Reading Girl.
You'd have to sell a VHS tape to these people.
I thought you were going to say
an
a
audio
V8 juice
cassette.
with a free V8 juice. So yeah. Anyway, but it made me laugh because I was like, because then he didn't show up for the show until after it began, so that to make sure that he didn't have to have the conversation.
Interesting. That's a way to do it.
Well, that happens at the Improv all the time. I don't want to go first, so
Oh, yeah?
yeah. So people show up last, so they show up late, and then whoever's in a row, you have to go next.
Yeah.
Have you ever noticed that?
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Yeah. It's fine.
I always
Quite
want to get
honestly,
the fuck out
I
of
just
town,
want to go
so I'm
up.
happy. Yeah.
Yeah. And if I have to sit there and watch someone else do stand up, especially if they aren't very good at it, and no offense, except for offense, because I just did a set at some club around. I did a couple of sets,
Right.
and the guy was up and he was just screwing around and he wasn't doing his act. And I found I had rage. I had tiniest of all rage.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, do your jokes, please do your jokes, or shut up, and bring
I'd
the
rather
next
hear
comic
jokes
up.
I've already heard just out of curiosity to see if you tweaked anything rather than
yes.
except for like someone like Pardo who is brilliant at crowd work or Tony
Yes.
Kameen. Most of the time it's like I don't care what that woman in the audience does for a living.
Right,
And
if you were
I'm
an amazing
furious
crowd
that
work
you are
person-
wasting our time because you only have 10 minutes. This is LA.
Yes.
You're not headlining any place. This is not
You're not learning how to do crowd work
Right.
at the Laugh Factory
yeah,
or
this
at
is not a
the Ice House or
check
wherever
drop.
you are.
It's your 10-minute set at club,
Whatever.
TBD. Don't
Yeah.
fucking waste it. Unless
Yeah.
you're setting up a joke.
Right.
Okay.
Which I don't know if he was. It was
Sounds
the
like he
longest
wasn't.
joke.
Sounds like from your rage that he wasn't.
It was a tiny amount of just irritant.
Yeah.
Also, I did a couple of weeks ago. I was in North Carolina with Maria,
Mm-hmm.
and somebody sent an email to Bruce saying that my watch bothered them and kept shining in their face in the audience. And it's like, I know that she opens for her a lot, and I just think if she just turned her watch around, because she did 30. I think she did about 20 or 30 minutes, and it was in my face the whole time.
I'm going to say she has fans that are on the autism spectrum.
It was, without a doubt. I
Yeah.
think we all do. I
Okay.
certainly do.
Right, all right.
But the thing, and so
That is an insane
what
thing
made me-
to
the
be
manager-
irritated by
her
and to
manager
take the
emails-
time to find out who Maria is managed by and then to email them is
Yes,
borderline
yes.
crazy.
Well, and so then, how about her manager forwarding it to me?
Now, what's his excuse? I've given this phantom audience member plenty of excuses, but I don't know what Bruce's excuse is.
Well, Bruce Smith is a lovely man who loves stand-up comedy and the minutia of it. And so he sent it to me, and I laughed, and I emailed him back, and I said, I am not above taking that advice. I am not above turning my watch around, even though it seems a little weird and butch, and I like my watch. And he said, all he said is he emailed me back, and he goes, that's why you're a pro. And I was like, well, thank you for that accolade. Bruce Smith, nicest man in the world. Chatty Magoo, though.
We're the last generation of comics that wears a watch on stage. Everyone else checks their phone to see how long they've done, which drives me nuts because that gives the audience permission to check their phone. They don't know you're looking at your time. They think you're checking a text and they're like, oh, let me take mine out too. Don't give these fuckers any ideas, okay? Yeah. Hide your fucking phone. I record. I hide it behind me. Don't let them have any excuse to take out their phone.
Yeah, and the other thing is here's as long as we're bitching about, because it is that is the perfect advice. Fucking hide your phone.
Yeah.
But the other problem I don't have,
put it in your pocket. You're not recording your CD. Okay, put it in your pocket and have the mic sticking out.
I don't know. The pocket thing bugs me just because it makes that space in your pocket, and so
your back pocket.
Oh, your back pocket.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, guys have it in their front pocket, and then it has that sort of weird, like their wallet cut out.
I'm not talking to guys. I'm talking to lady comics with some fucking fine asses. You got pockets on those asses and stick a phone in it. Hide that shit, bitches.
Did you want to call this one "Hide That Shit, Bitches"?
Sure.
Or something
does it take away from the magic of the show that we break down and tell decide the title right?
Do you feel that there's magic going on the show when you say, "Oh, are we going? Is it starting now?"
Yes.
Hello.
Okay, so I had a set this week that small audience.
Sure.
I was very resentful all week because I first of all, I put in for spots at a club that usually I can get spots in, and I didn't get any response. So now I'm like, oh, I'm out. You know how sometimes you're just out.
Yeah, and nobody tells you. You get no memo.
You just get no responses.
You don't get a gold watch.
Right.
You're just out.
You're out. So, and that's how it's not fantasy.
That's how it happens.
It happened.
That happens
to me with the Cellar many years ago. All of a sudden,
you were out.
Trickle, and then nothing. Okay.
Right.
So I'm like, oh, fuck, I'm out. So that ruined a couple days. And then I did meditate for 5 minutes and that I felt better. But anyway, so I had a different, but on top of I'm out, of that thing going in my head, then I had a small show, with everyone's out of town this weekend. These shows this weekend, this Memorial Day weekend, have been hideous across the board. Just everyone seems to have left Los Angeles, and tourists aren't going to comedy shows. Okay.
No.
So,
not in LA.
So, small show and front row, dude's just on his phone the whole time.
Oh.
And
that happened to me
again,
at the Ice House
I don't
last
have
time.
much time on stage. I don't want to spend it teaching a
ruin
grown-up how to fucking behave in public.
Like 45 seconds of you just going, hand me your phone. I guess I'm now your third grade teacher.
An hour on a weekend to get to a show in front of 25 people. Can I at least see if my rape joke works?
Oh my God. Both Irish Goodbye and my Down syndrome, both working good. Monkey's Paw.
That's a high five.
Still hit and miss. Terrigen Mist, nothing. I've got 9 references that are for 3 people in every audience.
Let me just say, I am reading a series called Percy Jackson to my son.
Right.
And I do understand what the concept of mist is. It's something that you put in front of mortals so they don't remember what happened to them.
That's how Percy Jackson is using that. The Terrigen Mists are a very specific Marvel thing.
Stop,
that
please. Okay.
Inhumans
just
are created.
tell me I'm fucking right.
You're right.
Thank you.
Oh my God, you're coming right along. You're coming right along. How's The Hobbit? You ever read him The Hobbit? They're just I
After
think
this
that's
we're gonna do one we're gonna do Farmer Boy, which is a Laura Ingalls Wilder about a boy.
Yeah.
I don't know that I should make
Farmer Boy is supposed to be pretty good. I never read it.
Yeah, we're going to do that. And
I had a Laura Ingalls Wilder. I almost had
Little House on the Prairie.
Dork Forest about that.
Oh.
About this woman who did a journey where she went to everywhere that they lived.
Wow.
And she had the time of her damn life, and she dragged her husband.
That's awesome.
And he was incredibly supportive, I understand.
Again, I'll never have that. So we'll do that, and then we'll start Harry Potter.
Okay.
Oh God. Okay.
Well, that'll be good.
Oh, fuck. What were
And
we
then,
talking
well,
about?
I have this to say is that, so I was listening to Pardo.
Okay.
Never Not Funny. Because
Yes.
I guess he talks about this show a fair amount. And so somebody said, listen to it. And I guess it was in the paid part of it. So
Yeah.
I'll never hear it. I'm so sorry, Jimmy. Did you want $2? And, but I had done a show a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
You did a show a couple of weeks ago.
No, I didn't. Actually, we didn't schedule a thing because he only tapes Mondays and Thursdays.
Oh, so you're still scheduling.
His actual schedule is when it's inconvenient for Lori. That's what he put, and then that happens to me Mondays and Thursdays.
Right. Well, I had a hard. It took a while for him to schedule me too.
Okay.
I'm cool too, you guys. Hey, did I tell you I'm going to Fort Worth because Ryan Singer did? Okay, so Ryan Singer.
Could you
and
just
Darren-
stick to one topic
Nope,
for
I'm gonna tell
5 seconds?
3 stories at the same time.
Oh, my God.
Here's what happened.
Okay.
So Kira Sultanovich was on.
Okay.
And she was talking about how she never got to do the Tonight Show with Leno, and she had told the story on her podcast.
That's shocking, by the way, because she
It's
did
enormous.
remotes for Leno. She did like that phone
50
booth
times.
stuff. 50 fucking remotes, and he
50
never let her do stand
and
up
she
on
asked,
the set.
And she said she got
Fuck.
an email from the bookers
Yeah.
telling her that it just wasn't going to happen because that was all they could offer her was that remote thing. They didn't, and she was like, "I'm a comic. Are you kidding me?"
Dicky.
It was the dickest thing I've ever. And I was like, I want to talk about it because late night, everybody wants to do late. I mean, you want to do every set, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I'm still mad I didn't do Letterman. I'm still pissed. He's been off the air for a year and a half, and I just saw his bearded face at the Indy 5, and I'm like, God damn it, I didn't do it.
Tracy
Sorry,
Ashley.
that was loud.
Wow, that was loud. Tracy Ashley got
can
to
you
do
turn
Ellen.
that down a little bit when I... Okay, thanks.
Ellen. Tracy Ashley got to do Ellen one time, and I don't want to do Ellen, but I want to do Ellen.
She
'Cause
was
Tracy
like
Ashley
a-
did stand-up comedy on it.
Oh, I know who you're competitive with now.
Everyone.
Tracy Ashley.
Oh,
That's true.
I mean,
That's
I don't know.
true.
We don't have to narrow it
Yeah.
down. But yes, me and Tracy
is
Ashley.
true.
Tracy Ashley also opening for Tracy Morgan right now, which is she's having the time of her life.
I know. She's Private Planes.
Oh, really?
Yeah. You know some comics that do the Ron White, open for Ron White?
No.
It's Private Planes, man.
They do private planes too?
Yeah.
Wow, that's a fucking
When you have
carbon
Ron
footprint,
White
man.
money, oh, man.
I don't even know what Ron White money is. What is that?
He was part of the Blue Collar.
Right?
Yeah.
And so is
tour,
that-
and now he does it he does his own stuff separately. He's
And that's-
huge.
I've never even
You know
heard
what?
of him.
My dream.
I don't even know who he is.
Okay, you come up with your persona, right? You've got your persona.
You got a point of view? Is
And
that
then
what you're
you got
telling
your
me?
POV, and then you hire comics that are good comics to fly around with you, write jokes for you while they
write
do their
jokes for
own
you.
30 in front of you. Yeah. Just come from my POV. Remember these two things. I hate being a mother and I hate my mother. Okay? That's all you have to do is fucking write jokes in that vein.
Yeah.
24/7. You can make X amount of show, take private planes. Ugh,
Wow.
the best.
Interesting.
Some people are doing comedy right.
So I don't know that that's comedy, but the thing is they're playing stadiums. I don't want to.
Yeah, that's terrible, Jackie.
I don't want to do Madison Square Garden.
Once you don't want to do it once,
Yeah, but he's not doing it once. He's doing it every fucking year,
No,
right?
he's probably doing every other year,
But
giving
he's
himself
doing-
a year.
Brian
to come
Regan
up with.
did an 11,000 person stadium in Salt Lake City,
Wow.
and that's hilarious. But I'm still going to be telling jokes to the first 200 people.
Yeah.
And luckily, there's a jumbotron that
Yeah.
has made my face into giant. But I don't. That's
As a
not
comic,
fun for
it's
me.
not fun.
As a comic, that's not what I'm looking
No,
for.
but what if you get to the point where you're just sort of a functioning alcoholic and you just want to get to your gig,
I'm
tell
sorry.
your jokes you
That's
have
it.
memorized,
You're calling
and
it
then go
in.
home.
You're phoning it in, and you're making a
That's
giant
all
bag of
I
money.
want.
That's all you want. You want that functioning alcoholic lifestyle.
Yes.
Okay. All right. That's something.
Okay.
Do you know? 10 years ago, I did Last Comic Standing for the first time,
Yeah.
and I was reminded because someone said, "Oh, I ran into Chris Porter," and
Yeah.
he said, "Remember we did Last Comic Standing 10 years ago?"
Who
And I
were the judges?
that first year, it was Gary Marshall, who said something nice about me, and they never showed it on TV.
Oh.
Gary Marshall said these words to Jackie Cation. He said, "You're very talented." And by the way,
But he wasn't. Who were the three comic judges?
no, he was one of the judges. It was before
Gary
the comic-
Marshall. Really?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
And Nikki Glazer was my roommate.
Oh, cool.
She must have been 19, and she was she dropped out of college moments later.
Wow.
And such a nice woman.
Yeah.
but such a nice kid when we met, you know, because it was 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And
do you watch? Have you seen her? I
have not
hardly watch any shows, but I watch clips. You know.
Yeah.
And
I just saw The
It's
Expanse.
really funny.
Is that something? That isn't.
The what? I don't know
The
what you're talking
Expanse,
about,
it's a
but it's really
drama.
funny, and it's really
Sci-fi.
like there's a new. Okay, I'm just going to talk over that. There's comics that are like female comics that are super comfortable with their sexuality or sexual talk and stuff, which I'm like, oh, I'm never going to be like that, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Like this is me.
Yeah,
I was raised a
don't
certain
have to.
way in a certain time, and but I do like. I'm like, oh, you say that. I
is that
do
your
get
response?
excited.
You're like,
yeah.
oh my God.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, kiddo,
But
you're
Nikki's
doing
like that.
so good over
But she's
there.
very. But you know, some people you feel like they're deliberately saying stuff because
shock jock?
They're shock jock stuff.
Yeah.
And then there's other people who are just really fucking comfortable talking
Yes.
in a certain
And that's
way.
Nikki
And that's what I
Glaser.
feel like Nikki's like. And it doesn't
Yeah.
feel shocking, even though from somebody else it would. And
Yes.
it would feel kind of
It's like-
pandery from somebody else. But from her, she's just super comfortable in her pool.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And the pool she swims in.
It's like Sarah Silverman.
Yes.
Sarah, Sarah, and
Well,
then
I
people
don't
who try
know,
to
she's
no, but
different. I
people
think
who
she's different
copy
from-
Sarah. No. What I'm saying is, I'm not done talking. I was going to tell the whole story, Laurie Gilmore. And
what did I
here
do?
we go.
Did I just pull a Jackie?
Yeah, you did.
Oh,
That's
sorry.
it. That's
Wow.
it.
Welcome to my life.
Midday on a Monday, where we're both awake and zingers are flying. So, no, I was just going to say is that the when Sarah first talked from a place that she's clearly very comfortable about
Yeah.
racism
Right.
and sexuality and these things, and then it was very successful. There were a lot of copycats, and everyone's like, "Well, I'm going to talk about racism," and it's. But when she talked about it, she was talking about racism. When other people in shock jocks are doing it, they're just being racist.
I don't think-
And yeah, it was just shitty comedy
Yes.
that was copycat and shock jock.
But I don't think Sarah was ever. She was always talking about it in where she kind of came at it as a character, where she's pretending to be
Right,
a
she
person
did
who
it well.
doesn't-
It was ironic.
Yes.
It was
but I
the
don't, she
definition
wasn't
of
like
it.
she wasn't directly addressing it. She was always addressing it obliquely, which made a lot of
Yeah.
people didn't get it. Which
No, they totally didn't
Yeah.
get it. And she was like, she's talking about racism
Yes.
from an angle.
Yeah.
Some
Yeah.
people are just being racist
Yeah.
because they get to say the N-word and they're like, what, Sarah Silverman? And you're like, stop talking.
Right.
Work on something else. Be your own person.
Okay.
But I get it. When you first start out, you have to copy something. You have to be inspired by something.
Yeah.
And everyone grows.
Did this come to your head because you're talking about Nikki?
Yeah,
do you
'cause,
see
well,
a
it
lot
just
of
led off
people
of-
copying Nikki? Do you feel like?
No, I meant it was because Nikki is that she's coming from it from a pretty authentic place. I'm sorry to use that word, Eddie Brill. I'm
She
so
talks
sorry.
very directly.
And
who are you talking to now? April Macy? You're just having fantasy conversations
Eddie
with
Brill? I said Eddie Brill.
Oh, I thought you said April.
Oh, I will talk about April Macy,
you were
who, by the
talking to
way,
April.
also talks about sex a great deal.
Yes,
and
she
it
does,
also
yeah.
comes from a very
Yes.
real place of sexy fucking Magoo.
Yeah, of
she-
people having sex.
Yeah.
Like, I don't need this. You know what? Could everyone not be having sex in their act? Please. I'm so tired of your fucking sex life.
Oh, too bad. And I'm at that time of the week, so I'm not having any sort of sex.
The week. We have a period a week?
Yeah. Guess what's happening? Guess what's happening with Jackie's middle-aged lady time? No fucking drink. You can't call it. You can't call it.
I wonder if you're tampering with my otherwise awesome hormones.
Oh, because we sit next to each other
Yes.
1 hour every week and
Yes.
a half?
Yes.
That's probably...
Okay,
We're
so-
probably going to start doing it every week now.
Here's what I made a decision. Last
Yeah.
week, I talked about, and it's dropping this morning, so hopefully. But I talked about a thing that happened to my mom.
Yeah.
And how I was going to try to
Oh,
use
yeah.
on my act. And then later in the week, as I tried it a couple more times, I decided against it.
Right.
Because, first of all,
Too soon?
No. It happened in 1944 for him. No, for her, no.
But the reveal was too soon.
I don't know. What my feeling was like when I actually broke it down, the structure of
Of
for
what the
me,
joke
it
would
was,
be?
Yeah, for me, it was an epiphany to realize that I had been raised by a woman who'd suffer through something horrible, and that's why my suffering, whatever it was, didn't bother her, or she didn't notice it. But then I was like, oh, it's just like every comic who's a child of an immigrant almost has the same set of jokes where their parents went through XYZ and they're like this, and it's the it's kind of a common trope, the contrast of your easy life versus your parents' hard life.
Right.
And then I was like, oh, it's just going to turn into that, which isn't bad, but I didn't feel like I had anything new to offer in that particular wheelhouse.
Fair enough.
And also, I kept visualizing this picture of my mom. Like, I have a photograph of her from when she was a kid, and she's always had like this frown, just a fucking frown, and she's always displeased, right? Yeah,
Okay.
and she has it now, and it's, of course, she's 79, so it's a 79-year-old frown. But it's weird, like, you see this picture of her, and she's like 7, and it's the same fucking frown. And I always remember looking at him like, God damn it, have you always been in a bad mood? And now I'm like, oh, I get why now. You know?
Wow.
And
Because she
so
was before the age of 8 this happened?
Yes.
Oh, fuck.
So the other 2 times I tried to work it out, I just couldn't get that picture of my mom frowning out of my head as a child and going, is the joke I have worth this?
Right, that
bringing
imagery.
It up,
Yeah.
and maybe I'll just let it lay down for a little while.
Yeah.
But I'm bringing it up because I also if people were to write about the podcast or something, if you could not mention that thing that's out now,
Nobody's right.
or just reference it obliquely. Yes,
there you go.
I would really appreciate it because it isn't my story to tell, and I do feel a little bad that I blurted it out last week
Because your mom reads the written word.
No, she doesn't.
Oh, okay.
But
Because she's not going to listen to because that's what you said last
there's
week.
no
She's
way it's
never
going to get
hear
to her. But I just it would just be a favor to me if you guys are ever going to mention it, to not mention it.
If there's a bad life choice that Laurie's made, if you could not mention it. Here's what I have to say about, there was only one thing comedy-wise that I completely focused on from your very heartfelt, beautiful moment that you just had right there, which was that you're like, I'm just going to write, what you implied was that you were going to write the same, you didn't have a new angle to go on it.
Right.
And I say that there's a new angle on everything.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah, and it's not happening now, obviously. But
no, it doesn't feel, and
it doesn't matter whether you're talking about potatoes. So, but just sit on it and don't write potatoes off because you can't write the definitive potato joke.
But
just sit on the potatoes.
Yes, I will. Like, I want to make a joke about it, but I want it to go away.
Right.
I want potatoes to go away.
Fair enough.
I want to I
can't eat
cleaned off
potatoes.
the internet.
Clean. If someone could scrub the potatoes off.
I'm glad that potatoes don't even grow in Ireland anymore. Because they did grow with the Catholic Church, and now I'm referencing it again.
Right.
But the other thing is the chunk I have about my mom is a lot of joke. That's obviously not true.
Oh, right.
Because I'm trying to kill her.
Yeah.
So then to go into this heartfelt, this thing happened to her. It was also the audience like, what?
Yeah.
Go back to when you were comedically trying to murder her, please. This is very terrifying for us.
Right, because then they'll think that the first part of it's real as well.
Yes.
And then they'll call
No, they
social
won't.
services.
No,
and
they
they'll say
just-
there's ageism and there's someone's hurting their old lady mom.
No.
Yeah.
No. I'm going to fight with you on this one.
You don't think that if there's a real story at the back end of a bunch of fake stories, that they'll make them all real?
No. I think we're all on board when we're telling jokes, what jokes are, and I think when you jump really quickly,
you believe in the audience more than I do in that case. Because I always think everyone thinks everything's real.
No, I think they think nothing's real. I've had people ask me if I have a kid afterwards. Like, were you making that up? Is your kid? Is he Hispanic? It's like, do you really think I go to all this trouble to create this entire life?
Right, which means that some of it's
I'm not
true.
Judy Tenuta.
Right.
You know?
It's wow. That's
she's very character driven, right?
Oh, is she?
Yeah, I mean, it felt like nothing was.
I'm
true.
over here watching Augie Smith, I guess. I haven't seen anybody old in 1,000 years. I would like to watch more old comedy, but
Did you just slag Judy Tenuta on every possible level?
I don't know if here's I have a Judy Tenuta story. I met her once.
Yeah.
In '94, I was working at the Comedy Gallery, Gaultier Plaza, Minneapolis, St. Paul, and she was headlining. And Scott Hansen, who was a piece of work and remains a piece of work, said, "Jackie will give you a ride back to your hotel." And I was like, "Okay. I hope you don't mind. I have an '83 Ford Escort with a big dog sticker on the side."
And you still do, by the way.
And I still drive that car, '83. And she said, "I'm not getting in that car." And I was like, "Oh, well, then I'm going to leave." And I didn't. I just left and I didn't talk to anybody because I'm like, "Well, fuck you. If you don't want to drive a ride, someone else will drive you." And that's my Judy Tenuta story.
Now, listen, there's been a lot of
headliner.
cars
Yeah,
that we shouldn't have gotten into.
because they're trashed. Because
Yeah.
they're gross.
Yeah.
Because the floorboards
It
rotten
wasn't
away.
safe.
Sure.
She doesn't know you. Is it icy? This is Minnesota. Is it icy? Is it
No.
snowy at the time?
No, it's a Ford Escort. She lives. Her hotel is like 6 blocks away. Yeah, she was just being a little bit of a diva, but that's also her character.
Okay.
But in real life, when I meet divas, I also leave. So it's not like anything new was happening.
Now I know why you slagged her.
Right, because it was diva-like, and I was like, I don't need it.
Okay.
I don't need. I hope it all works out for you, but I don't need to be party to it. Why would I have to be there?
Now, do you...
Did you ever work with her?
No, but do you give people one chance to be an asshole, and then the second chance is when it's confirmed? Like the first time, it's like
interesting.
maybe a bad day. This is a female headliner in what year?
94, 95.
94. That's got to be fucking awful.
Right.
Right? I mean,
Yep.
they're making decent money, but probably not the same as the guys. But
Right.
But I mean,
she's not
just-
making Pauly Shore money at that time. No, she is not.
And so do you just go, wow, she's probably in hell, depressed?
No, I am not. I stopped thinking about it until
You have
just now.
No empathy.
No, I have no memory. I have no, like, the thing is, if I met Judy Tenuta, I probably wouldn't even remember that story unless she said, "Why are you slagging on me?" And then I would remember her. And I'd be like, "Oh, well, there might be a reason. You were a banana head 77 years ago." But it's like, what you should know is that if you're rude to me, Americans, people listening, if you're rude to me, I will be irritated, and then I will forget, and then I will meet you again, and you will get to be rude to me again because I will not remember, because I am like Dory in Finding Nemo.
Well, okay. So I've been like being more of a mother than a comedian this weekend.
That's right. That's why you're full of rage.
Yes. I did
need
a
2 more
lot of
sets.
stuff with my kid.
Yeah.
And we went hiking with my friend Cheryl in the Angeles Forest yesterday.
How was that?
It was fun.
Oh, good.
And then we went to the Griffith Observatory.
Okay.
And we did some other stuff I already forgot.
Wow,
I mean,
outdoor
it's
stuff.
been like he's with me this weekend. It's been like fucking hardcore, and he's downstairs,
Yeah, he's here now.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's all over it.
It's hard to like completely immerse myself in that. That night comes and I'm like, oh, why am I here? I should be out.
Why am I not doing a set?
Yeah, I mean, but you know what? When I do have a set that night, it hangs over me all day long. Of all right, we got to get done, we got to get out of here on time, and I'm sort of like crankier.
Okay.
And yesterday when we were in the forest, I wasn't like I got to get home and get ready for my show. I was like, let's stay till monsters come.
Yeah.
You know?
And that's awesome. Well, that also valuable. It turns out human connection, not as valuable as stand-up comedy, of course, but very valuable.
I think they're equal.
Do you want to do your comic of the week?
Yes. Yeah, you know what? This is
6 Feet of Snow. I
Heather
worked with her.
Snow.
Yeah, Heather Snow.
okay. She's super funny.
She's really
we
funny.
did like a lady TV show together, either like Stand Up in Stilettos.
Yeah.
Again, please just
Stop.
the worst name possible.
Yeah.
Or
Did they?
no,
did
it
they
was
take a
Stand Up in Stilettos.
Did they
'cause-
take a shot of your feet?
No.
They did the first season. They took a
What?
picture of the women's shoes.
Oh my
Women
god.
comic shoes. They took pictures.
So they
Maria did it first
all
season.
size 11s. I don't know a single female comic with nice feet, nice petite feet.
Maybe Natasha Leggero. I don't know.
There's always an outlier. But everyone else size 11, size 12. I mean, that's half of what gets you into
I'm an
stand-up.
8.5, 9, my friend.
Yeah, but how tall are you?
5'4".
Okay, so those are big. in
are big
relation
feet.
to your height, you have big feet.
Right. I do not have good-looking feet. I'm willing to admit it.
I would bet most female comics in relation to their height have giant feet.
I've never even looked. Well, we also have huge penises. It's one of the things. It's quite.
That's true. So, Heather's really funny.
Yes.
And she
has been sick.
Yes. Last year, she had leukemia.
Yeah.
And she's super young, like 35 or under.
Max.
Yeah.
Max 35,
and was treated and successfully.
Chemoed and
all that stuff.
yeah.
All the stuff you do. And then she's having a recurrence right now.
It came back.
Yeah, and I am only saying because she posted it on Facebook, so
Yeah.
I assume it's public knowledge.
Yeah.
And
So go to 6feetofsnow.com.
There might be a way to any comic that has something like that going on.
Yeah.
Fucking nobody has good
Any
health
money.
insurance.
Yeah, throw them
you know?
$18. That's
Yeah,
what the Jews
but
do.
this isn't-
I was told.
You know what?
What? The Jews have this
Why?
thing.
We're
The Jew-
talking earnestly about Heather Snow, and you have to slag the Jews.
I am not slagging anyone. What is this word, by the way? Slag.
I
Is
just
that-
realized I keep saying it. I think I just read a British something British,
okay.
and it's in my head.
And now you're
but it's a
stuck.
great word.
It's a pretty good word.
It's better than slam. It's got
Right.
that nice
It's got
G
a nice,
at the
yeah,
end.
it's got some nice feel to it.
Anyway,
Heather Snow is very funny.
she's super funny, and she was
So
on
at
my
least
list.
book her.
She was at least she's
Yeah.
fighting again, but she was on my list. But I was like, oh, I don't want to make it seem like we're just like, hey, she cancer, but she's super funny. But it's there's a couple comics that are battling cancer right
Dan
now.
Telfer.
Dan Telfer, and if you can throw a little money.
Yeah.
That's always good.
Joe Wilson's wife just she's going through chemo for breast cancer, had half a mastectomy or
Wow.
whatever. And
Is
so,
that public knowledge?
yeah. Oh
Okay.
yeah. Go to vampiremob.com or we're all
Yeah.
famous to a few people.com or
But
whatever.
comics are like it's nice to have a writing job because you do have Guild health insurance,
Right.
which is pretty sweet.
which is not even pretty sweet.
yeah.
Super sweet.
Yeah, and
I don't have it, but it's I have Kaiser. Pretty
oh my
proud
God.
of it.
You've got
that's
to
why
do everything possible to stay healthy.
That's right. I can't. I've never even gone into the building. I assume it's catastrophic. That's what I assume my Kaiser is.
yeah, it really is.
Yeah, that's what I feel. Though I should probably get.
But you do your
the big-
normal,
Yeah,
know.
I just found that I was supposed to go get a breast, the big squish.
Yeah.
and I forgot to do it, so I got to go do that.
Oh yeah. I get
Yeah.
that done every year,
Everybody should go get that done.
but you don't.
Well, I forgot this year. It's I was given paperwork and then it got buried in my desk, and because I went to the gynecologist like a person.
Yeah.
And then she gave me a piece of paper, and I was supposed to go to a place to get the big squish, and I did not, and I just found it again, and so now I'm going to do it.
We're supposed to get colonoscopies right now. Do you know that, right?
No, like
Yeah.
a poke up my butt.
Yeah.
I don't want any part of that. That's fine. Because, here's what people should always know. Jackie-cation, tab A, slot A. That's the kind of sex Jackie likes. Too much info? Yes. But someone could...
Or not enough.
But here's the weird thing. Because I don't care. I mean, if that's what the medical procedure is, obviously you may stick your finger up my ass if you need to.
I don't think it's a finger, and I question some of the doctors that you have seen. Please go to Kaiser, because if they're not doing that, then
it's a win.
you have had some catastrophic health
Actually,
care.
the only thing I know about colonoscopies is entirely from male comics.
I know from
That's
their,
all I-
from their
that's-
dumb acts that are probably inaccurate
Right.
and homophobic themselves.
That's all I know. That's That's how I like to find out about
I'm not
medical
gay, guys. I don't even like to have a colonoscopy. Oh.
politics.
Right.
I find out about that from comedy. Yeah, so I get all of my information from stand-up
All my
comedy.
ball knowledge is
And-
from comics
entirely.
closers.
Yes, testicles.
Yeah.
And the testicle talk. Yes, I don't know. So I'm thinking about, I submitted for a different late night show.
Yeah.
I got asked to do a different late night set.
That's awesome. So
It
the
is-
late night, the show contacted you
The show out of the blue.
out of the blue.
And it wasn't Conan, which is the only one I've ever done. And all I wanted
You've done Conan twice, right?
done Conan twice. I could do it again. You listening, JP? You out there? Anyway, so
That's the way to do it, Jackie.
that's how you get booked.
Publicly shame the booker. I'm rolling my eyes, guys. That's not the way to do it.
That's not the way to do it. It's I don't know how to. I mean, and I love That was the first one I ever did.
Conan. Yeah.
And it was great because I've been doing stand-up comedy, right, for 25 years.
Yeah.
And then...
By the way, that's shameful.
That I had never done it.
That you hadn't done it till recently.
Any late night.
I fucking don't.
Nobody believed
that makes
that
me
I had
want to
not
set
done
something on fire.
Well, there's no reason for arson, but I appreciate it. And but so when he asked me, when JP got involved, he does the most amazing... I love how he does it.
Yeah.
You send him a set. He breaks it down into time code, into where he thinks the jokes that'll work on the show.
Yeah.
And he's like, I love this. This is great, but no. This is great, but no. This is good. Maybe. Yes, this. And then you sent him the set and he's like, what else? Either what else do you have? Or you sent him a longer set and he's like, put that together and send me a copy of that.
Yeah.
And he breaks it down into time code. So it's beautiful. So I sent that off to this other late night show and they listened to it and said, those are all great. I love those jokes. What about these brand new jokes that they like the brand new jokes that I'm doing?
How do they know about them?
They must have seen me put your hands together or like some weird hipster
cool.
thing. Like I must have been doing some alty thing.
I mean, because they saw brand new shit that you haven't done very much?
That isn't done. And so I was like, this usually takes a couple of months to put these sets together, so at least I have time to hone it.
Yeah.
And so what I did was I recorded a set the other night at the Improv, just a 6-minute chunk, and then I actually did an extra 3 minutes.
Did you bring a camera in there?
No, I just did audio.
Oh, they're just listening to audio?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
The first time I submitted it was audio that I put on YouTube with a bunch of headshots. Because I was like...
Were they your headshots?
They were my headshots. And there were people that had done that late night show.
Comics you liked.
This guy did your show. Do you like him? It was... Well, I always figure... When a videotape is so distracting, because if you give them too much information, they will find something not to like. I sometimes think that. Whether that's true or not... It's very possible it's not true.
Well, what if the joke depends on a facial...
Oh, right. If there was more mugging, I did. And as I age, there's a lot more mugging in my act. I will mug people. I will make an eyebrow. So I just sent audio and I just sent it. I was like, these, and I put a note and I broke it down into time code because there's a new Down syndrome comment in the middle of this one thing.
Yeah.
And this other, I was like, tell me if you just like parts of those jokes because there's, I didn't say because they're so new I can do whatever you want, but they are to some extent. And, they with late night sets, they always massage them. And if the joke is too old, I found this, is that if somebody wants you to do a joke that's too set in stone, it's almost impossible to pull something out of the middle of it.
Right.
It's not impossible, but it's much harder. So the idea that I could send them this 6-minute chunk of stuff that I'm like, you can tell me whatever you want to do with this thing. I loved it.
That's cool.
I freaking loved it because I was like, yeah, did you, is that word annoying? Because I don't care. I'm not married to any of this shit.
That's great.
Yeah. Who knows? But I mean, the thing is whether when somebody asks you to do something, you never know if it's going to happen.
Yeah.
You just keep plugging along.
Yeah.
How's the book?
Well, I think some of my parenting is me actually not writing.
What do you mean?
I mean, I was taking my kid to a forest instead of working on something.
Yeah, that's a day and a half. You'll get that day and a half back, Laurie Kilmartin.
Well,
But will he ever be 10 again? 9 3/4 or whatever it is. So,
yeah, I have this week off. I'm going to Bridgetown on the weekend.
Oh, that's right.
I'm hoping that I'll sit down. You know what I did is I this weekend I planted trees. I got some trees in a nursery and I
put them
planted
in the house?
them. No, I didn't plant a tree in my house, Jackie.
At the house.
Okay.
What kind of trees did you get?
I got some non-fruit blooming pear trees. They're cool. And then I got a jacaranda tree.
Oh, nice.
Okay. That stuff does take up. Part of me is like, listen, I'm trying to set my table correctly. And if because this house is a piece of shit. Parts of it are a piece of shit. It's got to look nice before I can really write.
Is that what you're doing?
But I'm ready to write. I got a tree planted, Jackie. I'm ready.
I do the same thing. I was just telling you this as I cooked 3 things this morning.
Yeah.
Instead of organizing anything.
Yeah.
Or working on anything at all. I didn't work. I was like, I was turned into sometimes if I'm only home for a short amount of time, the first thing I do is I turn into Becky Homecky.
You know what? It's fun to make.
Yeah.
We lived so many years exclusively like in condos, comedy condos, or hotels, and then when you're home, you have 7 roommates and it's shitty because you're all broke and stuff. Then when you have your own house, your own place, it's like, oh, this is how regular people. When you go to a high school reunion, they've been doing that the entire time,
right?
And you just moved into a house, and now you want to talk driveways and asphalt.
When I got my first apartment by myself, when Jennifer McLean handed me an OXO set and said, we're in our 30s, get out.
I've never had that, by the way.
So
I won't have anything by myself till I'm 60. And that's only if my
You've
son
never
goes away
had
to
even an
college.
apartment by yourself?
No, roommates.
Oh, that's right. You had roommates and then you had baby. Then you had a baby.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Well, I'll tell you something. And it was just a box apartment with a box room. I mean, it was 3 boxes. It was a living room, kitchen. It was a bedroom, and it was a bathroom, and it was my fucking space. And when I left for the road, it was pristine clean. And when I got home, I was like, look how clean it is. This is great. And then it was great. And now I go on the road and I come back and it's trashed. But that's fine. It's not completely trashed. He's not an animal, but it's gross. It's not. I mean, I was like, why is there
Well,
any
I
dirt?
will say that my mom does clean. She almost follows me and just picks things up as I drop them.
Oh, that's awesome.
On the ground. Yeah. That's it
That's
gives
a solace.
her life meaning.
Didn't she? I loved your tweet about how she called Louis C.K.
Louis Suitcase. Yeah.
And you were like, yeah, she can live now. She can live. And I was like, yes, please do it. Where are you going up? So this week you're going to Bridgetown.
Going to Bridgetown.
You will have come back from Bridgetown, I think, when this drops.
Yep.
Did you have a good time?
I had a great time.
Did you have a great time?
The
in
sets went
Bridgetown?
better than I thought they were.
Everything's coming together.
Yeah.
The bits are just
well,
popping.
here's like my sister lives in Portland.
Oh, okay.
You know when you go and then your family's like, well, let's do all this stuff together. You're like, well, whoa. She's like, let's do a kettlebell workout together. And I'm like, I'm going to a festival. This is not my intention is to start working out with kettlebells.
Right. And
I can't wait to see you, but
yes.
no, I don't want to be lifting kettlebells.
Right. We're going to have coffee. We're going to have dinner. It's going to be lovely. But I'll tell you something. Bridgetown, it's comedy camp. You just kind of want to hang out with comics.
And the hotel is practically, it's like almost a U-shaped hotel around half the venue.
Oh, you're staying in that one?
I think so.
That's the hipster one.
The Douglas Fir, right?
Yeah, where the Douglas Fir.
Maybe
is where
I'm
some of
not.
those
I don't
shows-
know where I'm staying.
We were. I went last year, and the older comics were all put at a Courtyard Marriott about a mile and a half away. And I, by the way,
There were probably complaints because you couldn't sleep in the cool one.
no, I don't want to stay at the Doug Fir because that's where the party's happening.
Yeah.
And Crashy Magoo wants to fucking crash.
Yeah.
So Gramication's got to fall over in a heap at midnight or 1, and you guys are still going to be going till 3 in the morning. And so
Right.
enjoy yourselves.
Right.
I'll be over at the Courtyard Marriott.
Yeah.
And
I don't know. I'll guess I'll find out how old.
Yes,
they
you
think
find
I
out
am
exactly.
when I find out my
right.
hotel.
If they think you're going to want to hang or not hang. So
Lori's going to want a continental breakfast. That's going to at the Courtyard.
oh my god.
Versus, Dan St. Germain, who's not awake till 4 p.m. in the afternoon. Like, you don't.
Right.
There's some comics that will totally sleep through the continental breakfast.
Yes.
And you don't want to waste that hotel on them, but I'm not one of them.
No, you'll be up. You're like, oh, is there free coffee and free possibly the cup of waffle? You know, the cup of, like a Hampton Inn will have a cup of waffle.
Yeah.
It'll have a hard-boiled egg. I never want to eat there, but I want the option. That's what I want. I want the option.
It is nice to, when people are eating the continental breakfast, to walk through them and then go to the IHOP. Like, I could do this, but I'm
above
going to
it.
spend $7
And have table service.
somebody else pour
Yes.
the waffle goo for me.
Okay, so when this drops, which I believe or goes up, I don't know what to call, whatever. When this is available on iTunes,
Let's be like Beyonce. Let's fucking drop this shit.
all right, let's
Yeah.
drop this shit. Monday, May 30th is when this will air.
Yeah.
and I'm doing the
Really?
amphibian.
No, like the 7th of June, 6th of June.
Oh, 6th. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
it's May 30th right now.
Yeah.
backwards. June 6th is when it's going to air and or go up, and then or drop. Stop talking. I am going to Fort Worth this like the 10th and 11th.
Oh, cool. Oh, you need to get people
theater.
out there.
Yeah. So if you are anywhere in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, it is a small theater that I wanted to do because Baron Vaughn did it, and then Ryan Singer did it, and I want to be cool, you guys.
I want to do it.
You want to do it?
Yes.
It pays almost nothing. Unless
sign
you can,
me up. That gig is my specialty.
That's your MO. And but I hear it's the greatest room. It's called the Amphibian Theater, and it can be if you can fill it. But I've never been able to fill anything. I can get 22 people to come see a live Dork Forest.
Don't ever say that.
No?
Don't say I've never been able to fill anything.
Because
people are listening.
Oh.
This isn't you and me. We're
It's
talking into microphones.
It is me and you. People want us to do live ones, and you were the one who said, I don't want there to be live ones because I want to just think that I'm just talking to you.
That's true. But don't say stuff like that.
Okay. Well,
That hurt you.
guess what? I could
You
fill
know how
stadiums,
many of these
you guys.
fucking assholes are lying about what
right.
they fill, and they take credit for
That is the
a
best
sold
point.
out Saturday
That is-
show
yes.
where the tickets were free
Yes.
and the club's
You are
losing
excellent.
money. I mean,
You are-
Jesus Christ.
Laurie Kilmartin is correct, you guys. I can do anything that you can do, and I can do it better. So there. So come to the Amphibian Theater in Fort Worth on June 11th and 12th, and come see me do stand-up.
Yeah.
I love it.
I'm in New
What
York
are you
on
doing?
June 17th and 18th, the Saturday and Sunday, and I'll
the
be at the
following week.
Stand and the Broadway both nights. So
Oh, that's awesome.
if you're in New York, come out to that.
Yeah. So
How much time have we done?
almost an hour. I think we're close. Do you want to
What else should we talk about?
Well, I love stand-up comedy. How about you?
Yeah, I love stand up. I don't know that I'm ever going to exist. I don't know, like when I take days off and I go be a mother completely, like I still don't feel good. I never, and then when I do stand up and I don't put him to bed at night, I don't feel good. There's no feeling good in my life. There's always feeling like I'm better at one than
People
the
are
other.
listening. And so, why would you say that out loud? People are faking it all over the world. They pretend that they're happy. It's here's something weird that happened that I just saw. Speaking of April Macy,
No
she went
comment
on a
on
date.
that. No comment on that.
You're a good person. I don't know how to fix that.
Oh.
Because the thing is you're doing both very, very well. You have a full-time job writing on the Conan O'Brien show.
Mm-hmm.
You do stand-up more than everyone.
No, I don't. You should have seen this week.
Who? Who did more stand-up than you?
Everyone.
I didn't. And yet...
But I kept, like, I'm in front of this crowd of, 12 people, one of whom's texting, and I'm like, this is after 30 years, 29 years. This is what I'm doing right now. I'm not.
Right.
I'm not in a room that's
Did you call
filled.
him on it or just ignore it with
No,
rage?
I mean I called him on it a little bit, but it's like this. This is ever. Do you ever stop doing gigs like this?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I can't imagine. I mean,
it was and I'm trying to slam. I'm done with slag. But I'm just like, it felt like, everyone else is at the Comedy Store tonight, and they're all passed, and they're all fucking doing 10 minutes in front of great crowds, and
none of that's happening.
You go on Twitter,
that is
and
a future that does not exist.
But if you're on Twitter, all the clubs are, so and so's killing it at this room, and you're like, oh. I'm not killing it in a room right now. I'm eating it in a different room.
You're having a nice night with your son.
No, I'm talking about when I am doing comedy in front of 12 people.
Oh, you're not even having you're not
it never
affecting
ends.
change.
The lack of prestige in the gigs never ends.
No, you got a lot of. The thing is your life is amazing. I think you know that.
No. I'm not trying to get that. I'm just.
Oh, well, then what did you want when you said?
I don't know. I wasn't trying. I don't want your patronizing compliments and you work so hard. I don't know how you do it.
That's not a patronizing compliment. That is a fact, my friend. But then I'm going to tell my other
tired.
story. I'm going to tell my other story.
Okay, tell your story, which is about April Macy and a date.
Yeah.
Okay.
Did you see
Please
that?
tell me about a female comic who's having sex. Yeah.
She's not having sex because she went out with this guy, and
Yeah.
she's going out to dinner with this guy, and he says, "How long do you think you'll still be doing this stand-up comedy?"
Oh.
Yeah, I told you would like this story. And she said, "I don't know how long you think you're still going to be doing whatever lawyering thing you're going to do." And then,
But he probably had an out date. Who wants to be a lawyer forever?
That guy wants to be a lawyer forever. And guess what? April Macy wants to do stand-up forever.
Of course.
Because she's a comic.
Yes.
And then I believe the next words out of both of their mouths were, check, please. And they were done. That date was over.
No, it ended really fast?
Yeah, it was over.
That's great, though.
Yeah, she was like, as soon as somebody said, when are you going to be done with your hobby of stand-up comedy?
Yeah, you're like, I don't want to spend any more money.
Or time or energy looking at your stupid face.
Yeah.
And then, of course, all of the comments, because she posted this on Facebook, all the comments were like, I'll take you out. You can do stand-up forever. You're super pretty. And she's like, calm down. It'll be fine.
It's all like non-working comics, right?
Right. Well, it's either comics or fans, right?
But don't you think like real regular comics know you don't want to date another comic?
I think so.
I think it's
you
hard. Go through a few. I mean, you do date a few
I never
comics.
did. But I mean, the first guy I ever dated was a comic, but then I knew better.
But you tried, right?
No. I was drunk. It wasn't. It ended in.
I forgot that you had like a decade that's lost to you.
There's a bad decade. There's a decade that the 80s. There's nothing there. Don't worry.
That's why sometimes you don't have a story. I mean, there is a story out there, but someone else has got to tell it because you don't remember it. We got to get some people that were with Jackie Cation in the 90s
or the 80s. Yeah.
So
see if Marmel
86
remembers
to 96,
84 to 90, 91.
Okay.
See if anybody's
just a
got
lost
anything.
half decade, lost nickel.
You know how you always have the heckler story. Did I tell you that I might have done this on the first 5 episodes we never aired?
Yeah.
Which was the guy that I got off stage. Steve Marmel was on stage, and these 2 guys in the room were still heckling me as I walked to the bar.
Wow.
And Steve was like, hey, the nicest thing Steve ever did that year was to draw their attention from me. And he said, hey, I'm on stage. You're supposed to heckle me. And one of the guys had passed out, and the other guy got up and stood behind me at the bar. It was like a Best Western four-walling kind of gig.
Yeah.
And I just done 10 minutes, and it hadn't gone well. It had not gone well, and I was furious. And it didn't go well because these 2 guys were heckling, and these other 3 people were heckling, and I kept it together as best I could. Did my time. I was at the bar. I order a beer. I get a mug of beer. I'm drinking the beer. Guy comes behind me who had been heckling me, and I make a very mature decision that I'm going to throw my beer at him if he talks to me one more time. And he doesn't. I feel him touch my shoulder.
Uh-oh.
And the bartender and the bouncer said he was reaching over my shoulder to grab my boob.
Oh, my God.
My breasticle. Where I keep my mammary gland, which, by the way, you gotta ask.
Yeah.
But I didn't see it. I just turned around, threw the beer at him, missing him completely.
Oh, no.
Hitting the guy behind him full in the face. Heckler guy.
Not
then,
the glass, though, just the fluid?
Right. And
Okay.
the heckler guy picks up that guy's drink and throws it at me. And then he starts laughing, and I punched him. With the beer mug.
Whoa.
I forgot I held the beer mug. So I clocked him with the beer mug, and he fell to the ground, and he stood up and he started screaming, "You fucking dyke." And he just started screaming, and I said, "You got a problem with homosexuality, faggot?" Not my finest moment, you guys. I'm not the hero of this story. And we were both kicked out of the bar, by the way, because it was not a romantic comedy. And we didn't end up being married and having 4 children.
Seth Rogen should play that guy in the movie about your life.
But the addendum on that fucking story, because that was in the 80s, is that I was doing in the 90s a road gig in like 93 or 94, and it was with a guitar comic from Wisconsin, who I cannot remember his name, but we were driving
He's
together.
probably grateful.
We're driving, and we were telling each other our heckler stories, and he told that story that I just told you to me as he was the guy who got hit with the drink. Yeah.
No.
We had to pull over. No cell phones. We had to pull over and get a payphone so he could call his wife and tell her, the woman who threw the drink at me and then punched that guy.
Oh, my God. Was he a comic at the time?
He was a comic at the time. He was trying to get into the shitty Best Western four-nighter four-wheeler.
Oh, who books that, by the way? Is that still going?
That's still going. Eric
Great.
Delver
Okay,
is
cool.
still working that. Anyway, so.
All right.
But you must have, like, heckler stories where you lost your shit. You got anything? What's the
lost my
heckler
shit.
story? Were you really nailed a heckler or anything? You got anything? Those are the.
Yeah, I guess so.
We exchange them. We sit around.
I'm
talk about.
not like a suck my dick, your mom fucks animal. Like, that's not my heckler style.
No, that is not. I cannot imagine that's your heckler style. I could see you being disappointed at somebody for a long time.
Yeah. But I mean, my two best ones are up on YouTube. Where the one
Did you destroy a heckler on YouTube? Boom!
I have one where somebody threw bread at me, and then
What?
yeah. I used to have this joke. That's code for, I haven't done it in a while, but I will do it if I need the time.
Sure, go to
Where I
the
talk about how much I love bread. And so somebody in San Antonio at the River Center Comedy Club threw a roll at me because they were trying to be funny.
Yeah.
And so I sort of broke it down. And so that's on. You know what kind of bugs me is I put it on YouTube. As it was happening, I was like, please God, let my camera be rolling, because it was funny. It was, I knew the exchange was working.
You videotaped it.
Oh yeah, I videotaped it, and I was like, please God. And so it was working. So I put it up, and then, a comedy site grabbed it and put their name on it, and they gave it a lot more exposure, but all the hits go to them and not me,
right?
Which
and
is
it's
kind
like
of
stealing laughs,
sleazy.
man.
It is
Stealing
really
laughs.
is. Okay, so that, and then the other one happened at Claremont, at Flappers.
Claremont.
Yeah, where
also videotaped.
Yeah. So yeah, I begged for that footage and got it. And there's this old woman, like she was celebrating her 70th birthday, and she sat in the front row. She ruined everyone's set. They didn't remove her. But at first she wanted her to, and
Remember,
then
they let babies in 2 weekends ago.
yeah. But I was like, oh, don't remove her. Let me have her. I don't care whose set you ruined. Sorry, guys. Like all 8 of my openers. Sorry. Let me at this bitch. Let me at her. So then we were going back and forth, and she's like, well, you're not funny or something. And I'm like, I know. This is a terrible way for you to spend your birthday. You should go. And then at that point, no matter what she says, I'm agreeing with her.
Right.
And I'm like, if I were you, I'd go. Because I've just started not being funny. I have 45 more minutes. You know what I mean? Like that. When you go from that, now they've presented an argument they have to follow through on.
Right.
Like you've backed yourself in a corner, and now you have to leave.
Call their bluff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I did, and she walked out.
Excellent. That's a win. Total
it was
fucking
cool.
win. Well played.
But that's more my style as opposed to you can't.
Well, there's
have
no hitting in
these,
Grown Up Land.
Yeah,
this was the 80s. So there's no excuse.
Oh, that's a different thing because that's happening at a bar, and that's a physical interaction.
Right. And
that's different from stuff that's on stage.
Right. That was actually not. Yeah. I mean, that was a guy who heckled me, and I shut him down as best I could.
People don't heckle now. They just look at their phones. That's a soft heckle. It really is. So, all right. Should we end on that one?
Yeah. I like it. Thanks for listening, folks.
Yeah. Bye.
Now leaving Nerdist.com.